Welcome to the presentation on Nobel Prize winners, their contributions in comparison to the hypergeometrical universe theory. I am Dr. Marco Pereira. We will start by addressing this question: why hasn't Dr. Alan Guth received the Nobel Prize for its inflation theory? The reason is that inflation is a very bad idea and one without a shred of evidence. So, no overdue Nobel Prize, smiley face. Inflation was created to make the universe homogeneous, same average density across all space. This is a problem if you claim that the universe was created from a singularity or point. So, Alan Guth stretched that point into an infinite, non-embedded 3D spatial manifold. I solved the same problem with the light-speed expanding hyperspherical hypersurface, Lehu topology. This means that I added one spatial dimension to space, making it 4D spatial manifold or a four-dimensional universe. The universe is the archetypal light-speed expanding balloon, having all galaxies as dots on the balloon's surface. If you are disagreeable, you might say, "Hey, why aren't the dots moving on the surface?" The reason is simple. Not unlike in 3D, inertial motion happens in straight lines in 4D. As you can see, for a body to start moving along the direction alpha 1, the angle with the radial direction, normal to our 3D universe, will be ever decreasing, alpha 2 less than alpha 1. This means that alpha_n will be 0 after some time, and all galaxies will have small idiosyncratic absolute velocities. So, give me my Nobel Prize. I just explained why the Hubble law exists. In addition, if the universe started homogeneous, like in a smooth outermost contraction layer or O, C, L, then it shouldn't be a surprise that it will remain homogeneous. Hence, there is no need for inflation. Another Nobel Prize here. I certainly deserve it. If you really want to make me mad, smiley face, you might say, "Hey, Einstein, why didn't Dr. Adam Rees, Nobel Prize winner, use this model?" The reason is that the supernova cosmology project data is incompatible with the topology unless you have g, Newton's gravitational constant, not being a constant. In Who, g is inversely proportional to the 4D radius of the universe. The other adjustment is that light always travels at the speed of light, regardless of its 4D vector. Here, you see the two cross-sections of the LEHU. Notice that they're identical. Yet, the one on the left is a cross-section of the 4D spatial manifold, where we live, and the other is space-time, a representation of what happens where we live. In other words, space-time is nothing, smiley face, just a representation of reality with time as a variable. Light always travels at c because both period and wavelength are stretched by the same rotation. Minkowski explained that the Lorentz transformation is a rotation in 4D. Since they are boosted by the same factor, the ratio, the speed of light, remains the same. Below is the representation of light or the fundamental dilator tunneling process. Light, the dilaton field or metric waves and the tunneling process associated with the fundamental dilator are subject to the same projections and are independent upon the inertial reference frame or the 4D vector. Well, once you do that, light can take any 4D vector. You should remember that in Who, light is a wave on the top of the dilation field, 10 to the 24 Hz metric waves. So, as a 4D wave, it will travel along all 4D vector or all directions. The only path that will matter is where light is absorbed or detected. In other words, the optical path is determined by the absorption event. That is when energy was taken out from the 4D wave. The absorption or detection event defines the path, so the momentum loss is the same for all absolute time intervals. No time interval is special. That is a physical argument that we should expect. The path is a self-similar path where the traversed radial distance is equal to the distance traversed by the projection of the path on the outermost hypersphere, our epoch. In other words, the distance traversed by the universe at the speed of light is the same as the distance traversed by light if the universe was our current epoch and if light had always traveled inside its 3D hypersurface. Once you take care of those details, one can trivially derive the cosmic distance ladder as d z equals r0 z1 plus z, where z is the redshift of the Type 1a supernova. Here are the supernova data and the parameterless predictions, without space stretching, dark matter or dark energy. And here is the short distance detail. The fitting yields two constants. Who models the expansion of the universe as a light-speed expanding hyperspherical hypersurface using just the Type 1a supernova's g-epoch dependence and the 4D radius of the universe. Hubble constant is the inverse of the age of the universe and thus it is equal to lightspeed c divided by the 4D radius of the universe r0. The value for the 4D radius is 14.04 billion light-years, yielding a Hubble constant of 69.69 km divided by megaparsec second. This value is identical to the one obtained by JWST latest and greatest measurements. It eliminates the Hubble tension. Hubble tension has existed because the supernova data has been yielding a value of 74 km divided by megaparsec second. Who eliminated the Hubble tension? In fact, there was never Hubble tension in Who. Of course, changing the value of h0 throws a monkey wrench on all distances in cosmology. h0 is fundamental to the workings of the cosmic distance ruler. Dr. Becky is so excited. Somehow, she never learns from me. No matter what. Such pride and prejudice. I derived the Hubble constant using a two-parameter model and got 69.69 km per megaparsec second. Cepheid measurements got 69.85 km per megaparsec second. It matches perfectly with the Cepheids. Remember, the Cepheids are G-dependent. And it turns out that their G-dependence is the same as the SN1A, Type 1a supernovae, easy peasy lemon squeeze. Dr. Adam Rees won the Nobel Prize for fitting a much worse model, LCDM or general relativity, to the supernova data, with absurd distances. Well, I made the universe fit in a 14.04 billion-year-old universe. It's not a small feat if you consider that currently, the incorrect maximum traversed light distance is 46 billion light-years. So, just for these achievements, where is my Nobel Prize? You might think that I am saying, where is my Nobel Prize? In jest, I am not. The work already done is revolutionary and deserves to be heard. The fact that scientists everywhere knows about my work, copy it or borrow from it while trying to keep it hidden is not right. Of course, it is a disservice to me. But it is mostly a disservice to mankind. Ideas, general relativity and the current physics, shouldn't be protected by censorship. They should be able to defend themselves. Here is Dr. Paul Ginsparg, the person responsible for blocking my work in the preprint repository, Los Alamos Archives, for 18 years. It has been 18 years, since 2006, that Dr. Ginsparg has been blocking the progress of science. You might think I grew bitter and resentful, smiley face. That is not the case. Every year on Thanksgiving, I have a smile on my face when I remember his name.